Welcome to Road Maps, the podcast for Texas local agencies and the firms that support them to plan, design, build, and maintain local roads. On Road Maps, we break down design, mix types, construction, and maintenance, sharing plain-spoken, practical insights you can put to work right away. Asphalt is a flexible pavement, engineered for optimum performance, so your community gets stronger, safer, longer-lasting roads. The Road Maps philosophy is simple. Stay flexible. Enjoy today's episode. Welcome to today's episode. We're going to be talking about constructability and ease of construction of asphalt pavements. Before we get going though, we got to do our safety share, Sam.
Thanks, Larry. Yeah, today's safety share, I thought it'd be prudent to talk about work zone safety and traffic control in work zones. And one of the things that really gets overlooked on city streets and county roads, you know, we don't have a lot of room. It's not like we're on a 100-mile long highway that we've got room for advanced warning signs and barricades and detours and everything else. It's really, we're confined spaces. We've got traffic in and out needing to get to their houses, needed to get to the businesses and throughout the work zone. So we're really building these projects while leaving things open to traffic. One of the things I always tried to do and ask my guys to do is think of either your grandmother or your daughter driving through the work zone, right?
That's scary.
And if as a grandparent, if you think your 80-year-old grandmother would understand the signs and how to navigate the barrels and the cones and make their way through, if they can do it, then you've done a good job. On the flip side, you think about your 16-year-old son who's just got his license and ready to go pick up his girlfriend. Well, if he knows how to navigate through that work zone safely, then everybody can, right? So, you know, we need to take a step back, especially on these city and county roads where we're open to traffic. It's really hazardous for both the traveling public and our workers. So we need to set up these work zones. We need to have the right signs, but it can't be confusing. And if you drive through the work zone thinking that you're either an 85-year-old grandmother or the 16-year-old kid who just got their license, if you can make it through, then you've done a good job setting up your traffic control.
I like it.
With that, let's get into talking about the ease of construction of asphalt pavement.
Well, Sam, I'm going to put you on the spot because you're a contractor for many years, well over 24, 25 years. And, you know, when we talk about constructing roadways, I don't think anybody who's watching this or anybody in the traveling public will say, that sure went fast. But it is a fact that constructing asphalt pavements are quicker. You can build them faster. There's certain aspects of ease of construction. Tell me a little bit about some of the aspects and, you know, what does all that mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you, and when we talk about ease of construction and either fortunate or unfortunately, I've had a lot of experience with both. I've paved a lot of concrete roads, I've paved a lot of asphalt roads. One of the things with, just right off the bat, is the phasing and handling of traffic. Typically with concrete, it takes 2 weeks to do just about anything. If we're paving a single lane, by the time we excavate, we've got to set forms, we've got to tie rebar, we've got to pour the concrete, then we've got to wait for cure. Our curing period is you know, unless we're doing something really exotic with high early strength concretes, but we're doing a minimum of 3 to 5 days worth of cure. Most oftentimes we're 7 days cure. So by the time you set your forms, you tie your steel, you pour your concrete, you cut your joints, you let it cure, then you got to come back and seal your joints, you're opening to traffic. It's a minimum of 2 weeks. The same pavement in asphalt is a matter of hours, right? As we come in, there are no forms to set. We've excavated, we've cut to grade. Typically on a city street, you're under traffic while you're doing that. Yeah. We really just set the asphalt paver down, we back trucks up to it, we lay mix, we compact it, and we can get cars through virtually immediately. As soon as that mix is compacted and cooled off, we're open to traffic. So, you know, we're really taking a minimum of 2-week process and cutting it back into, you know, maybe a 1-day process. And where it really comes into play, if you think residential neighborhoods, getting people in and out of their driveways, you know, a concrete street, we would either have to do a block out at everybody's driveway and come back later. At some point, they're out of their driveway for a minimum of a week. And again, that's on 3-day breaks and maybe high early strength and trying to get them in as quick as we can. Asphalt in, we're really, it's just a matter of hours by the time we pass somebody's driveway and can get that back in. So it's almost not comparable on the constructability side. Kind of the same thing on the maintenance side is if a pothole develops, and whether that pothole is in concrete, we've all seen plenty of potholes or cracked panels in concrete that need to be replaced, or a pothole in asphalt that needs to be replaced. Really in either method, we're saw cutting, we're removing material, but asphalt, we put it back, we compact it, and you're open to traffic. Again, with concrete, we've got to cut it out, we've got to dowel into the surrounding pavement, we've got to tie our steel, we've got to pour our concrete. Then we're, again, waiting 1, 3, 5, 7 days for cure time. Another interesting thing that a lot of people don't realize is concrete pavements, your full depth of concrete, whether it's 8 inches, whether it's 10 inches, 12 inches, whatever your depth of concrete is, that's all the same concrete. So if you want to go high early strength concrete to get somebody in, we've got 12 inches of high early strength concrete, which is expensive. Even if it's just 6 or 8 inches, it's full depth. The ability with asphalt, because we're going in lifts, we've got the ability to change our material with each lift. And so sometimes, right, we need a stronger mix at the bottom. There's different stresses and strains when we talk about design, where you are in that pavement structure. And the flexibility of asphalt, if you will, really lends itself to, you've got the ability to change your aggregate structure, your mix type, you can change your liquids depending on where you are in that structure. So if we're laying 6 or 8 inches of asphalt, and we're laying 4 inches of B at the bottom and 2 inches of D at the top, we can do a more economical mix at the bottom, maybe a different liquid grade at the top or something else. We can change the properties as we come up, so we don't go full depth with the same material.
Yep. And what about you know, I don't see it used as much as it probably could be and probably ought to be, and that is, you know, a little bit along the lines of what you were talking about, is this concept of stage construction. You know, you could build, like, say you're going to use a type B. I know in a previous episode we talked about the different types and everything, and then in a dense graded type B for a base material, you can still drive on that.
Absolutely.
You know, and a lot of times, you know, in big industrial developments or subdivisions, you know, you'd be better off doing that completely base layer and get all your construction traffic and all that stuff during this development construction period of the roads, and let all that traffic drive on that asphalt base layer, because you can drive on it, and even people can drive on it. I mean, cars, citizens can drive on it, and then you can come and, you know, if there's any defects, you know, from over heavy loading, bringing materials in and things like that, you can do kind of spot repairs, and then you do your final surface, which we were going to do all along. And then you come in and do that and do it once, and you know, that's the term is stage construction, and it's something that I think ought to be looked at, and it's something you can do with asphalt. You
know, one of the things, again, it often gets overlooked in the design or construction process, and you hit the nail on the head right there with that stage process. Think of, we're building a subdivision, right? And we're building a new subdivision, we're coming in with the new street, but then we've got to backfill the street. We're going to build sidewalks on that backfilled material. We're going to plant grass. The nice thing about asphalt, and you were exactly right, is we could do the everything but the top 2-inch lift. And then we can get all of our backfill done, we can get our sidewalks built, we can get our grass put in. If we've got street lights, if we've got traffic signals, right, we can get that all done without the final surface. So if there are any problems or issues arise with the pavement, or if we have some soft spots with our subgrade, but also, we've got heavy equipment that gets back in there. We can, there are gouge marks that go into the pavement. We've got the ability right at the very end of the project to come in with a brand new clean surface, that the surface gets laid, it gets striped, and we walk away from the project and it's sold. And you've got a brand new surface that's days old, rather than, if you'd have to pave the surface before you did all your backfilling and before you did your sidewalk and your street lights and all that kind of stuff. And those are just opportunities to get distresses in your pavement, or mark up your pavement where it doesn't look as clean as it does when it's new.
Yeah, I agree. And there is a benefit to, one thing about flexible pavements, about asphalt pavements, is that, you will have areas where you've got base failures and those types of things that are really not the asphalt's part. The asphalt ends up being on top of it, and if the base or the subgrade, there may be areas that didn't get treated the way they should have, and that happens. And by being able to drive back and forth on all this heavy equipment, and bringing stuff into subdivisions and concrete trucks, for slabs and whatever that may be, all the roof trusses coming in on the back of a big flatbed, those types of things, being able to identify weak spots and address them before you finish the pavement, and because in the long term. And one of my favorite words is durability of pavements. You can do all kinds of things and make them really look great in the beginning, but what's the durability going to be of that pavement? And if you've got issues like we do here in Texas, with real poor soils and things like that, I don't care if it's asphalt or concrete pavements, sooner or later that is going to manifest itself into a fatigue in the pavement, into stress in the pavement, an earlier failure than you had hoped for. And having flexible pavements gives you that ability to maybe catch some of that for the long run.
No, that's a good point. The other neat thing, and we talk about subdivisions, but even on typical city streets or county roads is just the ability to open to traffic immediately when we're finished. We set up a lane closure on a county road. Maybe there's a flagging operation. We're really shutting one lane down, but just while we're working on it for the day. At the end of the day, we remove the barricades, and we've got 2 lanes of traffic back on this county road. With concrete, you can't, right? There is no opening it up or removing your barricades at the end of the shift. Whereas asphalt, you're literally have the opportunity to set a new lane closure every morning and let traffic run on whatever surface you've got that afternoon. So it really, we're just impacting the work shift and not a continuous period.
Right, because people do need to get back on that roadway. It's one thing to shut it down for the day, or like you're saying, we have a lot of county roads that are just 2-lane opposing traffic roadways, and they'll be working on one side. Of course, it's an inconvenience, but all construction is. But you can have paddle boards and pilot cars that are bringing the traffic on the lane that's not being worked on, and then you can
At the end of the shift, you remove them and open
that,
it up.
and they're back to a 2-lane roadway. And then as that project's being built, you're kind of moving on down day by day and building it in phases, and without keeping people from being able to get into their neighborhoods.
Well, and the more inconvenience we have for traffic, right, is drivers can get frustrated, which then impacts the safety of our workers, right? And so if we've got the ability to relieve some of that stress at the end of the day, if we've got the ability to get off of the road at the end of the shift, that staged and phased construction is also a lot safer for keeping our workers out of harm's way.
Yeah, well, that's a great point. The longer it takes, being a construction worker on a highway project or a roadway project, that's not an easy job, and it's not up there on the safest jobs in the world. No. You're never going to see working next to moving traffic. I mean, you've got barrels. A lot of times are the only thing, and those barrels are there to really show the traveling public that you're not supposed to go into that work zone, right? And so you've got workers that are really close, and it's very very important that the quicker they can be out of that project, the better for
safer, everybody.
The safer for everybody, not just the workers, but the traveling public
as well.
And so, yeah, that's a big factor. Speed of construction, and asphalt is much quicker to build, is critically important from the safety side of things.
And quicker also means more cost effective.
Yes, more cost effective. Yeah, no doubt. There's a lot of things that are calculated with user delay and these types of things that are looked at about number of days that the roadway is out of service and what is the economic impact commercially. For getting goods and services to places and that, and hanging that up, and costs get passed on. At the end of the day, buying something, it'll cost more if it consistently takes 3 times as long to get there, right? So,
one of the things, and that just sparked another thought in my mind is when we're paving city streets and we're paving in front of businesses, right? A lot of times it's how quick can we get traffic back into that business? How quick can we reopen that parking lot for that business? There's a major economic disruption for, again, we think residents when we're building in front of their houses, but for these businesses when we're building in front of their shops or their stores, and the quicker we can get past and traffic open back up to allow people to shop in their store, the better off we all are.
That's a great point, and you know what? It goes from for residents trying to get home, that's a nuisance and inconvenience, but for businesses, and particularly small businesses, which is kind of the backbone a lot of times of our economy, small businesses can be really impacted by closures.
Yes.
There's plenty of stories out there about long-term construction projects that put smaller businesses out of business because they lost access to their place of business for extended periods of time and lost their customers. So that's a great point.
So when we talk about ease of construction, we've got, obviously it's easier to construct, it's more cost effective. We've got the opportunity for staging and different things with phasing. We've got the ability to put the surface on at the very end of the project instead of midway through the project. We get people into their houses faster. We can keep small businesses, people going to the businesses. We've got the safety issues. There's a whole
It's a long list.
There's a whole list of things that you can package
benefits of
under
easier
construction.
Ease of construction. That's a great point.
Well, thanks for tuning in today. Hope you enjoyed the conversation on the ease of construction and constructability of asphalt pavements. And with that, Larry, let's talk about the project of the month.
Okay, we got a good one. The project of the month is the city of Smithville, Texas. Smithville is east of Austin, on the way to Bastrop. And the project of the month is an asphalt overlay repair project on Loop 230. This was a project that was done to address some issues with some loose rock, and it was constructed in a matter of one day, and it's gotten excellent reviews, and the citizens are extremely happy, and so that is our project of the month.
Sounds good.
So now we're going to get into, guess what?
Top 10 time?
Hey, you got it. And we're going to be talking about the top 10 reasons why the ease of constructing asphalt pavements is important.
Larry, the number 10 reason why ease of construction of asphalt pavements is important is the project is going to get done every time faster with asphalt.
Number 9, your project will be completed more cost effectively.
Number 8, it's less of a hassle for the traveling public.
Number 7, and this is an important one, it's less invasive and disruptive for local businesses.
Larry, the number 6 reason why ease of construction of asphalt pavements is important is the less time it takes to build a road project, the safer it is for both workers and drivers.
Number 5, it's easier and faster to conduct routine maintenance.
Larry, the number 4 reason is there's less likelihood of cost and time overruns.
Number 3, it frees up resources and money to build more projects.
Larry, the number 2 reason why the ease of construction of asphalt pavements is important is as much as you may enjoy rocket science, sometimes you just got to get a project finished.
Very true. The number 1 reason, asphalt gets people in their driveways and homes sooner and safer, which is the goal of roads in the first place. So I hope you enjoyed our conversation today. We really enjoyed talking about the ease of construction and constructibility of asphalt pavements.
And with that, please remember,
stay flexible. Thanks for tuning in for this month's episode of Road Maps. If you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to like and subscribe, and follow us on our social media channels at Texas Asphalt Pavement Association. Stay flexible, and we'll see you next time.